Hello and welcome back to the channel EVs, Solar and Kilowatts. Just wanted to give you an update on the problems that I was having with my MyEnergi Zappi and its performance in cold weather, and more specifically its lack of communication with the hub. This problem had been going on for a little while, and originally when speaking to the tech support at MyEnergi, who I have to say have been absolutely fantastic and very, very patient in helping me with my problems. I'm speaking to other people and looking at the sort of general thread on some of the forums. My experience isn't unique. I think they really are genuinely very good. A small company developing very much a personal service, and they've been absolutely fantastic. So can't fault them at all. I can't fault the products either, because I say generally they're very good, and it's just that I've had a particular problem with mine. Most people, apart from maybe some setup and some peculiar setup arrangements in their own supply, for the most part, no issues with it at all, and I would never hesitate recommending any of the MyEnergi products at all. But the issue that I was getting was communication with the hub when the temperature dropped. Originally, we thought this might be a communication problem, and we weren't getting information from the MyEnergi Eddy, which is our master, and the Zappi being the slave. And in some instances, the communication was actually dropping out there, and the Zappi wasn't getting information from the Eddy in terms of the CT connections, such as the solar and obviously the grid. We have MyEnergi Eddy, which is up in the airing cupboard in our house, which is towards the back of the house, and the Zappi is on the outside wall of our downstairs study at the front of the house. And if the distance is too great in between the two, then sometimes there are some connection problems. So we managed to resolve that with an aerial, and I'll get a link for you in Amazon in a moment. And I've also done another video on it, so I won't talk about that too much in this video, but managed to dangle it out through the loft, through the soffits. Communication no problem thereafter, but as soon as the temperature dropped below 5 degrees, you could see it there on the BBC app in Sandhurst where we live. 5 degrees. Have a look at the app, and you get the dreaded amber triangle saying that the data isn't current. And of course, because the Zappi's not working, there's an amber triangle on the Zappi, there's an amber triangle on the house, and there's an amber triangle on the percentage of green energy status in the middle of the hub on the app. So quite frustrating. The Zappi would still work, and interestingly, with the new MyEnergi web platform, which gets your data from Octopus in terms of when the prices are cheap, it'll still get that data and it will still put it into the Zappi, and it would work sometimes. So it would almost be as if the data was going one way more often than not, but not sending any data back. So if the car did charge, or I did a manual charge, which I had to do occasionally because I needed the electricity power to charge the car for my early start the next day, it would charge, but all of that data in terms of how much it charged and the grid usage, etc., was not available on the app. So it was working, I'd say, 80% of its capacity, but let's be honest, these aren't cheap, and you want them to work 100%. Otherwise, there are inferior models significantly cheaper which do the job. So this had to work. So I got in touch with MyEnergi tech team, spoke to a couple of guys there who went through various options with me, between resetting everything, so basically resetting the Zappi, resetting the Eddy, the hub, the Harvey, all back to sort of factory settings, resyncing them all up and reconnecting. When I did that, got full 4 or 5 green lights on the hub, thought everything was okay, and then temperature we go through a period of sort of relatively warm weather at night time, sort of sub 10 degrees, but not that cold, and everything would be working fine there, and I'm thinking that everything is sorted. A few days later, we get cold, get a cold spell, clear nights in November, December, and the temperature drops below 5 degrees. Same thing happens again, red light on the hub, and here we are again, really frustrating. So another call to the tech support to say, look, here I am. What I forgot to say actually was that they requested my hub serial number so that they could see what was going on. So they had all the data. They could see when it was dropping out and trying to reconnect. So they knew I wasn't making it up. So the next thing we did then was change they suggested actually that we got to swap it out and get a new one installed. Before we do that, change the channel, which sounds like a really simple thing, but it actually kind of made sense, because if there's a communication issue and it's a temperature issue, there might be some other Wi-Fi things going on in our house. And to be honest, there are a lot. We've got our heating, our lighting, power sockets, computers, Xboxes, TVs. We've got wireless sort of discs that are around the house. Some are connected via Ethernet, and some of our services are connected via these discs as well. So there's a lot going on in our house that's wirelessly connected. But I don't think that we're unusual in that respect. We might be unusual in other areas, but not in terms of our wireless connectivity in the house. It's sort of fairly common nowadays, and these devices should be able to cope with it. So there are 8 available channels that you can use from your hub and of your devices. So I was originally on channel 1. So the tech team walked me through the process of changing the hub channel, changing the Zappi and the Eddy channel to receive the same, and then the Harvey as well. So everything was talking to each other. We went to channel 4, I think, on the end, and there's a good guide online through the MyEnergi website actually to show you how you can change channels. Just about everything's on their website, so you just have to look for it. It's fairly clear. But much easier to be spoon-fed the information over the phone, I should say. So we did that, and it was freezing that day. It was about just over 1 degree, and made all the changes, reset the channel, and suddenly it spoke again. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, we're in good shape here. Only to then later on that night drop out again. So reset everything to factory settings, change the channel. We got good connection between the Eddy and the Zappi, but no connection again when it gets cold with the Harvey. So, sorry, with the hub, I should say, the Zappi and the hub. There was a communication problem with them. So called them again, and they're going to replace it, which is fantastic news. It's only 3 months old. It was installed in September. We're now middle of December. So it's obviously all covered under warranty. And the really great thing, and I don't know if I went about it the right way, maybe I could have contacted my installer and have them sort of come round. But to be honest with you, the fact that you've got tech support on the other end of the phone, they're only going to do what I've done is only what the installer would probably have done. I've had to call them out, stop them installing other units to essentially do what I've done 2 or 3 times. So I may as well do it myself and save them the bother. And now we've come to the point where we need a new one. MyEnergi are going to send me the new Zappi, which will arrive tomorrow. This afternoon. I have been in touch with Ecology, who installed the unit in the first place, and they're coming out tomorrow afternoon to fit it. And the unique thing about MyEnergi is they actually compensate the installer for coming back out and refitting the device. It shouldn't take long because all the mechanics are already there. It's just literally a case of taking the wires out of the old one, putting the new one back on, screwing it in, put the wires back in, and job done. I'm probably oversimplifying that, but compared to an original install, it should be a fraction of the original time. But MyEnergi actually compensate the installer for that, and I believe from speaking to the tech guys that they're one of the few companies that actually do that. So there's obviously a very good relationship between MyEnergi and the installers, and that's obviously promoting more installers using them and installing the devices. And from my consumer point of view, the tech support has been fantastic. So really spot on, and really pleased with it. So it'll be installed tomorrow afternoon after about 3 o'clock. The guys are coming, and I will let you know just how how we get on with that, and I'll do that as a separate video. Thanks for watching.